Hey, how's it going? This is Rob from Justin's Toys, and today I'm going to teach you a concept instead of the traditional bracelets and charms. And basically, I'm going to teach you how to turn a 2D image into something that you can make on the Loom. And what I mean by that is you can actually take this graph paper back here, pixelate it, and draw an image such as the flag. And then once you make the flag, you can turn this image into this. So each one of these bands here represents a box on this graph, also a pixel if you want to call it that. And it's not just limited to a flag. You can actually make anything you want. You just have to turn it into a pixelated image on this graph paper. Alright, so what I do is I start on the top right of this image, and I'm actually going to fill this loom up, so your loom is going to be perfectly aligned. And again, starting from the arrow pointing away from you, this box right here, just going to zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. 1A is going to represent a band that's connecting these two pegs. So that's 1A, this is 1B, this is 1C. And these bold lines represent the perimeter of this loom. So I would fill this up to go black all the way on the top, red in the middle, except the last one, which is black, and then white all the way on the bottom, except for those last two pegs, which is going to be a black. And then you're going to loom it and then transfer it to this and then to this. I find the best method to make it as bold and appealing as possible is to take two bands and apply them between each two pegs. So starting with 1A, I'm taking two bands and I'm applying it. Alright, so I'll be right back once I'm done applying all the bands onto the loom. Alright, so now I'm done filling out this whole loom with bands. I'm not done yet. I'm actually going to put a rubber band on each vertical column, and in this case I'm going to use clear, because as you can see in this flag itself, it's actually held by vertical bands. So if I pull it, you'll see it's white inside. I'm actually going to use clear in this case because as you can see, the black lines kind of have that white in the background. So if I use clear, it'll probably get rid of that. So using these clear bands, I'm going to apply vertical bands all the way down the loom, and this part, yeah, I could actually show the whole thing because it's going to take too long. Alright, so now that I have the whole thing filled out, I'm going to go to the other side of the loom, and I can actually start to loom. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this whole entire row and this whole entire row. I'm going in front of this clear one in the beginning, just like a triple single, but since it's double banded it is just slightly different. So I'm going in front of this clear band, grabbing those blacks, bring it up and over. This actually just goes back here. It's not like I did anything wrong. And I'm going in front. Again, it might be easier just to push in front of all of these bands so that it's easier to identify which one's on the bottom. Okay. So I'm just basically going to go in front of all of these and go all the way down the line. But I'm only going to do that for these two rows. this row is actually going to be a little different. So I'll be right back once I'm done looping this whole entire, these 2 rows. Alright, so now I'm done with those 2 rows, and this last row is going to be a little different. So you can see this whole entire loom represents this top right section right here, which is this, and I have to create a way where I can attach this part to this part, and then this part to this part. So this section and this section, this section and this section. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to take another clear piece and put it on top of this peg, and take another clear piece and put it on top of this peg, and while I'm holding this, I'm getting in front of all those bands except those bottom 2 blacks, and I'm going to pull this out, get around those corners, and I'm going to bring it up and over itself, and then now I'm going to grab this, another clear part, put it over this peg, and then get in front of all of these, and then pull these whites up and over. Okay, then grab another clear part, then on the next one get in front of all of these bands except those bottom 2 whites, go up and over. And I'm just going to zoom in so you can get a closer look. Alright. So again, grab another clear part, go in front of that top of that peg, get in front of all of these bands except those bottom 2 whites, get around those corners, bring it up, getting over. Another clear part, put it over. Get in front of all those bands except those bottom 2 whites, and then bring it up and over. So you'll see all of these clear bands right here is basically going to be this clear part for the next section that would be down here, right here. Alright. So I'm basically going to do this all the way down the line, and I'm going to put it onto this hook. And I'm going to do that by getting on the rightmost one, going in the peg, making sure that I'm in all of those rubber bands, and pulling it around the side, and then pulling it up. Then I'm going to go and take my hook and get inside all those red bands, bring it around, and take it off those pegs. And then the last one, make sure I'm going in that hole. It's going to get kind of tense around here, so I could actually pull off some of those. That way I could relieve some tension. And go in there, get in all of those bands, including that clear, and then just pull it off. And then at this point, I can actually remove this whole thing from the loom. Okay, kind of got to tug kind of hard, and there you go. As you can see, these clear parts right here are just down here, and this is what's going to connect it to this second section right here. So you just pull these clear parts down. Alright, and there you go, we're done with this section. And now we're going to extend this to finish this section right here. Alright, so now I'm going to fill out this loom just like this. Alright, so this section right here is complete. As you can see, black all the way down the line, black, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, and black, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white. So now I am ready to transfer this whole thing back onto here. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you how to transfer it back on. So if you remember, I pulled it off from here, here, and here. So now I have to apply it back on from here, here, and here. And I'm going to do that by taking this whole entire first part right here. It's going to be this bottom clear, well, in order, these two bottom whites, this clear, then this clear, and then these two whites. So basically it's going to be 6 ends in total that are going on top of this, and I'm going to do that by using my left hand and using the hook. Face the hook in the opposite direction of the inside of the bands, and then put it on top of the peg. Once you got them on top of the peg, release and then rotate your hook. Alright, next I'm going to take this clear part and I'm going to put it on top of the rest of the pegs. Alright, and then I'm going to grab the 4 ends of this red. Again, I'm going to use my hand, grab the ends of those reds on that side. The other ends are going to be on my hook, and then bring it on top. Okay, and then rotate your hook gently. You don't want to accidentally unhook one of the blacks. And then now these 4 ends of this last black are going to go on this peg right here. Again, I'm going to use my hand to grab those, and then I'm going to pull it up and over. And there you go. Now this whole part is complete, and now I am going to put clear parts vertically down the whole entire loom. Alright. You didn't have to do anything with the clear parts on here because it was actually on that last peg of that first section already. And again, oops, clear parts all the way down the line. And then I'm just going to leave this clear part out on that last one. And again, I'm going to go down the line and just use my hook to push the front of those rubber bands down, because that's going to make it easier to loop them later on. Alright, so just like how I did that whole first section, I'm just going to bring up this row and bring up this row. Again, I'm going in front of all of those rubber bands except those bottom 2, and then I'm bringing it up and over, in front, up and over, up and over. I'm going to do this all the way down to the end on this row and the next row, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm done with these 2 rows, and now I'm back on that bottom row, and just like how I did this whole section right here, I'm actually going to put another clear on top of the second peg, then go in front of all those bands except those bottom 2 blacks, and I'll zoom in. Okay, I'm going in front of all those bands except those bottom 2 blacks. get around those corners and then get over. Alright, next I'm putting another clear on this peg, getting in front of all those bands, and those whites, bringing up and over, getting another clear, getting over these bands, getting in front of those bands, up and over, get a clear, right, and I'm going to do this all the way. Alright, that looks like a defective band, so looks a little thinner than normal, so I'm going to toss it. I'm going to replace it. Alright. And I'm just going to do this all the way down the line. So I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the last one, and what I'm actually going to do here, I don't even need a clear one right here. I'll take one out. I'm going to clip all three of these ends. So at this point, grab 3 C-clips, or whatever clips you have, and the easiest way to do this is get your hook, bring them all together, firm grip, bring it about halfway in so that this little groove right here is aligned with these bands. And I put a finger on top usually so that it can't possibly loosen. So again, firm grip, as close to the tip as possible, and just pull up. There we go. Got those all. Okay, grab your next C-clip. Do it on the other side. Again, firm grip, almost as close to the tip. Get halfway in, just pull up. Alright, and then the middle one's kind of the most difficult, but you can actually help by getting your hook, getting in there. Alright, and pulling it out. Use some power, and then there you go. And now I can actually remove this whole entire part. Alright, so one at a time, kind of carefully, you know, pull. If you pull straight this way, it makes it a little easier. So, alright. And since those are clipped, you can actually pull it off. Alright. So there you go. Now it might look like you made an error here, but these are actually those bands that are supposed to be down here that just got caught in. So if you pull these clear parts, and you can see, if you just pull them, they're going to come out. Alright. So we are done with these 2 sections right here, and now we're going to continue with this section right here. We're going to reapply these bands over here and then connect it. So you can see it's a little loose here, but the way I have it is completely tight. These rubber bands in here, these white ones, are actually going to connect 4 rows, not 3. So you're actually going to go in here and then pull that clear one out over the 4th row in order to create it so that it's tight, not loose at all. Alright, so again, back over here, I'm going to grab 2 bands. So I'm starting with that first row. It's red all the way down the line except the last one, which is black. Alright, 2 rubber bands. That's 1A. 2 rubber bands. 1B. Alright, and I'll be back once that's filled. Alright, so at this point I have this whole loom filled out, and then I have this piece that I already finished 2 sections of. And right now you're learning the concept of transferring this vertically. So I'm actually going to zoom in to this piece that's filled out and try to let you conceptually understand exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so these Rubbermaids were made so that 4 rows is actually the perfect amount of tension in order to make this completely flat. If you look close, you can see there are some gaps, but in order to close that gap, a 4th row would make it the best or the optimum amount of tension where it'll flatten out completely. If you look inside, there's going to be that clear band, and this clear band is actually going to be applied to this one peg, which is going to give it that 4th row and make it as flat as possible. So the first one that I'm going to do is this outside black one. This clear rubber band is actually going to go over this first peg, the one that's connecting these 3 blacks on the top. And then this other clear is also going over that first peg, but also on top of those other 3. Just like that. Alright? Now, the other thing is, since it's still going to be extended, these 2 sections right here, it's still being extended lower, you also have to put another clear right here on the bottom. Alright? Now we're ready for this next row. Again, you are going to go in, you're going to identify that clear rubber band that's in there corresponding with the next loose clear. Alright, I'm just going to use my hands for this part. Bring that up and over just that first peg. Okay, and then this other clear is going to go over those 3. Alright, now this 3rd row, again you're going in, you're finding that clear that corresponds with this loose clear, which is right here. You're grabbing it, putting it over that first peg, and then putting it over these. So this whole entire process I'm going to work in 3s. So starting with all of this, I'm going in front of these 2 clears and grabbing those 2 blacks from underneath. Okay, I'm bringing that up and over. Then on this one, going in front of all of those bands except those bottom 2 reds, bring it up and over. And I'm actually not going to go past this point because I haven't applied the clears yet. And I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going back over here, going in front of that clear, bringing up that black, up and over. Push down on this one because it's going to seem kind of loose. Go in front of all of these bands. See, that's what I mean by loose. Go in front of all of these bands, grab those 2 whites, bring it up and over. In front of all of these bands. Actually, I can't do that because the clears aren't up here. And now we're back down to the bottom. I had a clear on here, it fell off, but I'm going to put it back on. And also I have to put another clear on that other bottom one. I'm going to go in front of this clear band and inside this hanging clear. And I'm going to grab those 2 blacks. Get around those corners and then up and over. Okay. Now I grab another clear, put it over this bottom one, get in front of all of those bands, grab those 2 reds and bring it up and over. And then at this point, since it's going to get so tense to try to do this next band over here, you can actually loosen this third row that's already been looped. And that's going to relieve some tension, so you can actually pull this up, and it makes it easier for you to work on the next row. So again, I'm going in, grabbing that corresponding clear to that next loose clear, bringing it up and over, and going in front of all of these bands, grabbing those two bottom reds, bring it up in front of all of these bands, bringing it up. Again, grab another clear, put it over this lower peg, get in front of all of those bands, bring it up and over. Now, since I'm done with 3 rows, release that last third row and then pull this up, find the next loose clear, go in there, grab that corresponding clear, bring it over that first peg and the clear on top of the other 3, go in, grab those 2 reds, and I'm basically going to do this all the way down the line. So I will be back once I'm closer to the end. Alright, so that is the last one. And just like how I did over here, as far as putting all these bands on my hook, I'm going to go in that top left hole right there. Make sure I'm inside all of those rubber bands. Grab them all and then pull this off. Again, I'm just going to pull off these 2 because that's going to make it easier for me to grab all the bands on this one. And then now I'm going to take my hook, go in all of these whites, grab them off, and then now I'm going to go into here. But make sure you get inside this one loose clear one as well. Okay, so go inside. And then off. And once you do that, you can actually take this whole thing off and just inspect it. Alright, make sure that everything looks right. This one right here actually has to go. Accidentally pulled it out. Everything looks right. So now I am going to do this section right here. This section. Alright, so I'm just going to fill that up. So the loom's filled now, and now I'm going to transfer. And again, just like how we did here, you're going to go in and you're going to use your hand to kind of help you. I'm going to zoom in. And what I'm going to do is all of these bands that are under this top red one, you're going to grab with one hand. Okay? You're going to use the hook to kind of help you. And you are going to put it over that first peg. Alright? Now this one clear one that's supposed to go horizontally, you are going to apply over the other two pegs first before applying that second set of bands. Alright, then you're going to pull your hook out very carefully. Kind of turn your hook so that it gets off properly. Now this next set of white, use my hand, grab one end, use the hook, grab the other, put it over. Now rotate my hook carefully. And now this is the last one. All of these reds, try to move that over, that over, and then rotate. And there you go. That is my transfer. And now, again, just like how we did this section right here, you're going back in, you're finding that next clear one, and then the corresponding inside clear that's in there. You're putting that inside clear on top of just that first top peg, and then you're putting the other clear over the rest of them. And again, working in threes, I'm going to do this column as well. Go inside, grab that inside clear, get over that first peg, and then put this clear on top of the next two. Alright, so I'm ready to loop. I'm going inside all those bands and grabbing those two blacks from the bottom, bringing it up and over. Over here, grabbing those two blues, bringing it up and over. Okay, same thing over here. Going in front of all those bands, grabbing those two blacks. Don't know what just happened there, but I gotta figure it out because this does not look right. I guess I got caught with some other bands, but it should be okay. Yep. Going in front of all of these, grabbing those two whites. And I'm back down here. Again, remember to put one clear on top because we still have to transfer one over. Now I'm not going to show you the this whole entire flag, but let's say this was the end. On the bottom of the flag, instead of adding this clear one, you would just end it just like this. So this section right here, this last bottom sets, these last two bottom sets, you're not putting an additional clear one. Alright, you're just going to end it just like this. But since I do have to transfer more lower, I have to put my clear one on top. Okay. And, oh, I didn't even do the right one. I got a clear one accidentally. Alright, so like I said, work in threes, so I could take these off. Alright, pull this up, get in there, find that inside clear, put that over that first tag, so it looks like that again. Alright, so I'll bring this one up, over, this one up, over, and then one clear on top, and up, over, pull off these three. Pull this up, get that inside clear, put it over that first peg, and I will be back once I'm at the end. Alright, so these three blacks are going to be my last ones. I'm bringing that up, that one up, and that one up. And at this point, I'm going to grab 3 clips, and easiest way to do is halfway in, pull it up, bring it out to the front. Alright, on this side, on the other side, halfway in, bring it up to the front, and then let's just take all of these off so I could just remove this clear piece to make it easier to go in there. So I'm just going to pull this off so I can get to that easier. Grab a clip, till halfway in and pull it up. Okay, make sure you got all the bands, and then now I could remove these. Alright, so take a look. That is the completed 4 sections. So on this, you'll see these 4 sections are complete. And I'm not going to finish this whole entire flag on video because it takes about 2 hours to make. But what you would do next is this section right here. I'm going to put it on the loom. Then you're going to transfer this on just like how you did this section. Next is going to be this section right here, which is that. And then you're going to transfer here, and you're going to do that again over here, and last one over here without putting the clear bands on the bottom. And that would complete your flag. Again, it's not just limited to flags. If you want to download this graph so you can draw and color and make your own design, you can actually do so by clicking here. And if you want the flag as well, you can also download this PDF version by clicking here. If you successfully make anything, feel free to share it. I'll share it on my page. It's facebook.com/justinstoys. And if you have any questions, let me know.